Seven independent experts just handed the world's most powerful AI companies their report cards. Nine companies were graded. Not one earned an A. Not one earned a B. The best score in the entire industry across every company building AI right now was a C+, and three of them failed outright. This isn't a tweet, this isn't a blog post, this is a formal independent assessment by the Future of Life Institute, the same organization that got Elon Musk, Stephen Hawking, and Stuart Russell to sign an open letter warning about AI risk back in 2015. And what they found in 2026 is arguably more alarming than anything they have warned about then. Before we get to the grades, you need to understand who is doing the grading, because this is not a random online ranking. The Future of Life Institute publishes this index twice a year. Seven independent AI researchers and governance experts affiliated with institutions including UC Berkeley, the University of Montreal, and Oxford University evaluated 9 of the world's leading AI companies across 37 separate indicators in 6 categories. Those 6 categories were risk assessment, current harms, safety frameworks, existential safety, governance and accountability, and transparency. The grading uses the standard US GPA system, A through F, and the evidence was drawn from publicly available documents, model cards, research papers, and a targeted company survey. The companies evaluated were Anthropic, OpenAI, Google DeepMind, Meta, ZAI, Alibaba Cloud, xAI, DeepSeek, and Mistral. Every major AI lab in the world, US, Chinese, and European, in one assessment, and nobody passed. Let's go through the grades in order from best to worst. Anthropic, C+, a score of 2.66 on a 4-point scale, the highest grade in the entire industry. Anthropic led 5 of the 6 evaluation categories. To put that in perspective, a 2.66 GPA is what most universities would classify as academic probation. OpenAI, C, score of 2.28, second place overall, and notably OpenAI actually led the risk assessment category specifically on the strength of a broader external evaluation program and testing engagement. But a C is still a C. Google DeepMind, C, score of 2.01, third place, but the lowest C in the top tier, only marginally ahead of Meta despite being considered one of the most research-focused labs in the world. Meta, D+, score of 1.32. This is a significant drop from the top 3. Meta, which has positioned itself as a champion of open source AI, scored a D+, meaning its safety practices were assessed as substantially below even the mediocre industry average. ZAI, D-, 0.88. Alibaba Cloud, D-, 0.87. Both sitting near the bottom of the graded companies, separated by a single hundredth of a point. And then the failures. 3 companies received an outright F. One from the USA, one from China, and one from Europe. xAI, Elon Musk's AI lab, scored 0.65. DeepSeek, the Chinese lab that shocked the industry at the start of 2026, scored 0.47. And Mistral, the French AI company often held up as Europe's answer to OpenAI, scored 0.33. The lowest grade in the entire assessment. The grades themselves tell one story. What they were graded on tells a more important one. The 6 categories break down into 2 groups. The first 3, risk assessment, current harms, and safety frameworks, are about what companies are doing right now. Are they testing their models for dangerous capabilities before releasing them? Are they tracking real world harms? Do they have internal policies that actually stop dangerous development? The second three: existential safety, governance and accountability, and transparency, are about longer term picture. Are companies thinking seriously about what happens if their AI systems become significantly more powerful than they are today? Are there external oversight mechanisms? Are they being honest about what they're building? The answer across almost every company on almost every category was somewhere between barely and no. The panel's written justifications describe an industry that is moving extremely fast and investing extremely little in the systems designed to catch what goes wrong. Here is the finding that most coverage of this story has completely missed, and it's the most important one. The panel found that the biggest AI labs are not just failing to improve their safety practices, they are actively walking back commitments they already made. Between 2024 and 2026, companies including Anthropic, OpenAI, Google DeepMind, and Meta, all of which had previously banned military applications of their AI, gradually reversed course. They are now actively seeking defense partnerships. More specifically, the panel found that companies are internally weakening or abandoning red line commitments, meaning the thresholds they previously said would trigger them to stop development if crossed. These lines are being quietly moved or removed entirely. Even Anthropic, the top graded company, drew direct criticism from the review panel for what they called questionable military engagements. The report cites a reported link to the Meenab school strike that caused mass civilian deaths. The panel's conclusion is stark. Voluntary corporate pledges on AI safety are demonstrably failing. The companies making the biggest promises are the same companies quietly walking them back when nobody is watching. This report didn't arrive in isolation. On July 10th, 3 days after the safety index published, Apple filed a lawsuit against OpenAI in Northern District of California, accusing the company of a systematic effort to steal trade secrets for its hardware business. The complaint names OpenAI's chief hardware officer Tang Tan and a technical staffer named Chang Lu, both former Apple employees, alleging Tan emailed himself confidential supplier data before leaving Apple and told departing employees to bring actual parts to OpenAI interviews. Apple is seeking an injunction and the return of its intellectual property. The timing is worth noting. The same week, an independent panel concluded that OpenAI's safety and governance practices deserve a C, meaning adequate but with significant gaps. A separate court filing accused the company of an organized intellectual property theft operation. These are not connected stories, but they paint a consistent picture of an industry that's moving faster than its own ethics can keep up with. Here's the honest summary of where the AI industry stands in July 2026. Capabilities are advancing faster than at any point in history. The models being built right now are genuinely more powerful than anything that existed 18 months ago. The benchmark scores, the agentic task performance, the reasoning ability, all of it is real. And simultaneously, according to 7 independent experts who spent months evaluating the evidence, the safety infrastructure designed to make sure those capabilities don't cause serious harm is not just stagnant, it's regressing. The best case interpretation is that the industry is moving so fast that safety practices simply haven't caught up yet, and will. The worst case interpretation is that competitive pressure is systematically eroding the commitments companies made when the stakes felt lower. The grid suggests the worst case interpretation is closer to the truth. A C+ is the best the AI industry can produce on safety. 3 companies, including one of the most valuable in the United States, failed. and the trend line, according to the panel, is moving in the wrong direction. The next edition of this index publishes in early 2027. Whether those grades will improve or get worse will tell us more about where this technology is actually heading than any benchmark result or product launch. If you want to follow that story as it develops, subscribe. I cover the AI industry's biggest moves every week without the hype. And drop a comment. Do you think voluntary corporate safety pledges can ever actually work, or does this need government regulation? See you in the next one.